This is the Railway Mad YouTube channel where we are restoring one of these, a Battle of Britain class steam locomotive with Southern Locomotives Limited. Both of these locos you've seen so far in this episode have been restored from scrapyard condition. This next one is no different. It is named Sir Frederick Pile and it is numbered 34058. In previous videos, we lifted off the boiler and then slid out the rear axle trailing truck. And it now looks like this. Our next job is to simply whip off the wheels. It is obviously not as simple as that because unlike a car, you can't just unbolt the wheel and take it off. The wheels on the locomotive are attached to an axle and that axle is connected to the wheel the other side. So therefore, we have to lift the entire locomotive up in the air so that the wheels can be rolled out from underneath. But just like your car, first of all, we have to get out the jacks and place them underneath the locomotive's frames. These yellow hydraulic jacks are placed just behind the rear driving axles. And further up, just positioned in front of the front driving axles, are some red jacks. We are going to have a bit of a recap just to make sure that all of you guys understand how the suspension system on railway vehicles work, because it's very important that you know that, because we are about to get very aggressive with this loco just to get these wheels off, because it is very, very problematic. But just before we go into that, we're going to throw ourselves underneath this loco and just take a quick peep at how these jacks are positioned underneath the rear of the frames. As you can see, these jacks aren't quite the same type that you see positioned underneath your car as you change your wheel. They're pretty big. I'm going to use a simpler, older design of railway vehicle to show you how the suspension systems work. And that is on another project that I am currently working on. And that is this lovely old goods wagon. Steam locomotives like to hide their suspension systems, but wagons, they're not so proud. They put them on the outside where you can see exactly what they do. This clip actually shows the wagon partially stripped and partially painted. This wagon will feature in some future episodes on the Railway Mad YouTube channel. Now let's get back to having a look at this suspension system. As we look down towards this axle, and as you can see, the box poking out there is the axle box, and that sits underneath the suspension spring, which is elliptical shaped. There you go, there's the axle box that I'm pointing to there, and the spring. Above here is the spring bump stop, and the whole of that unit slides up and down inside the horn guides, which are the vertical pieces you see here. They are braced to each side as well. And just at the bottom are the horn stays. The axle boxes on these old wagons have quite a lot of sideways movement on them, so as you can see there, it's tilted over to one side, just displaying that a little bit easier. And they do rattle around and make quite a lot of noise when they're in motion, and that's one of the reasons for it. This is what effectively happens when a load is placed upon the wagon or it hits a bump. As you can see, the wagon comes down and the axle box goes up effectively towards the bump stop. So the axle box actually slides up and down inside them horn guides. So with a little bit of exaggeration, I use my pointy finger. So we go down, up, down again, and then back up again. That is how the suspension system works. Now we'll take a look at our axle boxes of our locomotive, which is named Sir Frederick Pile, which is a Bullied Light Pacific, numbered 34058. These axle boxes are at the upper limit of their travel, and the gap here is pretty tight, and we got to increase that greatly, and it's going to prove a real problem. We have to increase that gap so the entire axle box unit drops out of the bottom where this horn stay is. You can see the spring just below, which we have already removed. In this next shot you'll see a crucial component that we really did utilise, as we're currently now underneath the centre drive crank axle. And as you look over here at this axle box, you can see that we've already removed the spring and the horn stay. So left here we have this swinging shackle, which we're going to use. You may be thinking that all they have to do is jack this locomotive up and leave the wheels behind. Things are never quite that simple, as we have done this a number of times before and we've always had trouble with them. And this time is a little bit different. It's a lot worse. We began jacking the loco up, hoping that the axle boxes would slide down the horn guides as they should, but that didn't happen. And this is what the result is. Not something you see every day, which is a drive axle of a steam locomotive airborne, away from the rails. So we had a problem to contend with there. So we decided to use those shackles to help pull the actual wheels back down onto the rails. As you can see there, the strop is tied around the shackle. It goes through one of the holes in these lovely Firth brown bullet designed wheels under the rails. If I can just climb over there, there's the other end of the strop. There's a corresponding one over the other side that we'll attach our Yale pull ratchet thingy to, and that will then pull together and lower, or help to lower, these axle sets. And then if that fails, we have the old fail safe, which is a chisel wedge in there between the bump stop and the axle box. And that should give us the little bit of assistance we might need, and the wheel should then drop onto the rails. Sounds simply enough, but it definitely isn't. We just take a look round and see some of the other work ahead of us. Is the centre drive axle just in front of us there with the crank. There's not straightforward work in there. There's quite a lot of bits and pieces in the way to work around. Here is our Yale pull ratchet thingy. As you can see, it's quite a basic bit of kit, but is very effective. Once attached and cranked right up to maximum, it still didn't manage to drop the wheels down. So we're going to have to attack it in a different way with using some extra energy provided by some oxygen and some propane. And old fella named Richard who's done this once or twice before. I can hear him now cursing me for calling him an old fella in this video. Well, you don't get to be a legend without first paying your dues. Richard's plan is to apply some heat above the horn guides so that they expand a little bit and therefore helping to release the axle boxes.
I can't reach from here. I'm making a minute. Do your best. Do your best. Do your best, Richard. Do your best. Dip, dip, dip. That's all right, Dean. Just one for the time.
Yeah.
If you knock that one out, then you're right, Rich.
A little change of plan there.
If you take that one out a little bit,
Put another wedge
put
in
the
there.
other one in
Yep.
on top.
It's a longer one here, Richard, if you want.
Oh, shit. Careful you didn't burn your hands there.
The longer one there if you need it. Moving.
Is it moving?
Yeah.
We've got any clearance between the rail and the wheel at the bottom now?
There should be because the wheel is independent of it.
That's going, is it?
Well, I thought it would move slightly.
With a slight bit of movement on one axle box, we decided to do the same with the corresponding axle box the other side. Yep, that's it moving. Q is the chap swinging the sledgehammer at this point.
Yeah, just hit the top one. Rich? Yeah? Do you want to give it another blast of heat?
No, just go. You fill the place with smoke.
Sorry?
You'll fill the place with smoke.
The packing pieces are up.
It's moving a lot.
Going. And the bottom is going.
It is like everything on this loco is just hard work. It seems to be taking so long to do this. This is actually filmed over many separate days.
That's it. Out a bit more.
This loco has 3 driving axles, so that means 6 wheels, and that means 6 of these axle boxes that we've got to work on individually to try and get these wheels back down onto the floor.
It's on the move. That's all right. That's it. Sorry, you get it. Kept at the top of that. She dropped. Yeah, one down. Second one on move.
Did that heat help then?
Oh yeah. When you keeps going. When you look at the corrosion of the faces, that's almost bonding metal on metal. You know,
With all 6 of the axle boxes reluctantly giving up their position inside the horn guides, they eventually begin to move. So we then jack up the frames of the locomotive just another couple of inches, and so we can start the same operation once again. But this time we decided to try something a little bit different.
well, I don't know how to
Alan has brought in a little hydraulic button jack that he would like to try out. See if this will make things a little bit easier than using hammers and chisels.
Yeah, that's it. Let's try that.
You ready? Is this set the jack up or... There we go. This doesn't bode well.
Oh God, yeah, no chance.
Richard decided it was time to get the burner out again and to heat up the frames just above those horn guides once again. This time the result was slightly different. Will the Herculean effort from Alan leaning on the drive axle make a difference?
I think it's all down to Alan.
There's a good few tons of steel hanging there in the air above the rails, and all that is holding those wheels up in the air is the friction caused by all the rust. And all the additional heat that Richard is applying using the propane torch is expanding the frames, reducing the friction, and so the axle begins to drop. There we go. The right hand wheel just there drops a little bit. Alan's looking closely at the other wheel, and then all of a sudden, he says twice, all of a sudden, whee!
After all that, Alan,
We then jack the loco up again and start work on the front driving axle. As you can see there, the small green strokes are positioned through the wheels there, and that is attached to the Yale pole thingy, which is then pulling the axle downwards while Richard is on top, applying some heat to the frames to open up these horn guides, so hopefully the axle drops onto the floor. Alan with 1L decides to take a closer look and gets a bit close to the action. Not that there is much action going on at the moment, but he decides to take a closer look at it and gets in the way of the shot, and I decide to raise this with him. Alan. Alan. You're in my shop yard, mate.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Why didn't you try?
Well,
I was only looking at that.
oh no, I'm not thinking. Because as well as you're getting a bit close to what he was doing as well. And I thought, if that suddenly goes, you suddenly.
Well, so I'll get it.
Oh, right.
Very gently.
Seems like that might be in a right swan. It's got all that weight on that jack.
Yeah.
It still doesn't want to know. Hey, nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Oh, nothing's happening, I said. Yeah, it's perfect. It's hammering down with rain and we're still at it. The frames have gone up even higher. Just working on that front drive axle there. That's probably about 3 or 4 inches up off the rail. That should drop down as soon as possible, really. Placed upon the pony truck at the front there, the front bogie. We have placed some sleepers as a packing just in case the jack should happen to go down. But everything seems fine so far. While the heat gets applied again to the horn guides that hold the front driving axle up. Yeah, it looks like we've developed a problem with the gas plant. I'm not sure if it's a leak.
Nothing tightened up there? No, I think it's this bloody. Is it this Is it a relief valve? No, it's a blowback valve. Blowback valve. I'm not sure it's not that. I can't tighten anything else up. It's not where the pipe goes onto it leaking, is it? Or the actual screw thread into the cylinder? Or no? Where it goes onto the valve on the cylinder. The main valve. Where it screws on. I've already had a go at that. Yeah, okay, we can't do anything now then.
Nothing ever seems to go to plan with this job.
No, that's bloody solid. That's under pressure. It's marine brass as well, isn't it? So.
We are back in business. It really doesn't want to move, does it? It gave us an inch. We'll jack it up another couple of inches and then take a look round at the front because I have something to show you. Well, we've got Paul at the back making a noise with a grinder. He's grinding off the heads for some rivets at the rear of the loco frames. We're going to take a look at the front. So at the moment they're jacking up the frames because we need to release this front bogie. Have a look under the front. That central pin has got to clear the top of the bogie. We have about another 8 inches at least to come up. So keep on jacking it up, placing these sleepers between the bogie and the frames until we can see the bottom of the pin. Let's take a quick look at how things are progressing. So we're about 3 inches up there. This is the front view of the front bogie pivot pin. Just drop the camera down a little bit and see the underside of that. Just nearly flush with the underneath there, so we've still got some way to go yet. This is reminiscent of one of those old railway films where we've got someone tied to the tracks trying to escape. Who is in there? Who's under the spotlight? It looks like Hugh. Hello, Hugh. When this loco left the scrapyard, they should have definitely left this spring there. Look at that, that is absolutely cream crackered. Hugh decides then to make a final adjustment to the Yale pull ratchet thingy.
They're under tension anyway. I thought I saw it move then. Really? Yeah, the left hand one.
This procedure of jacking up the frames, then attaching the Yale pull ratchet thingy and pulling the axles down and then applying a lot of heat seems to be getting harder and harder the further the axle boxes drop inside the horn guides. Seen here in a really rare moment of exuberance is Paul C, who is then easily persuaded to take a break.
Oh, you want to have a go? Yep. Oh, you want to do? Oh, look at that. Is that video?
Of course.
What, something I don't do nothing?
Oh, it's pictures of you.
Yeah, pictures.
Ah.
But not video. You see I'm a lazy bastard.
Well, I've got you in that. I'll get you in that shot jacking this up. And you get some more blocks. While Hugh and his chainsaw goes looking for some sleepers to cut up, Paul C decides it's getting a little bit too much for him and he decides to take a break from his break. A lot of head scratching goes on at this point as we decide that we're going to take a slightly different course of action, in the fact that we decided that we're going to roll the pony truck out and not remove the driving axles at this point. We just try and do one thing at a time. So that is what we're heading for.
This side's lower.
We then secured the driving axles in the up position so they don't decide to fall down of their own accord, and then decide to roll out that pony truck once the pin has cleared the truck.
You've got to get it up higher than that. You've got to get over that row of bolts at the front there.
Yeah. Yeah, you need another half inch.
You need another half inch after that.
You've got a bolt head sticking right up there.
Yeah, I know. So easily done.
He will be a star though. Yeah. Alan with 2 L's is attaching our long yellow strop that we're going to use to pull the pony truck away from the remains of the locomotive with the aid of our forklift.
Yeah.
There's plenty of clearance there now, and now things are about to get exciting, so Paul decides he's going to recharge his batteries and then jump to it. But little did we know that we were in for one heck of a surprise. To find out what that surprise is, you'll have to look out for the next episode on the Railway Mad YouTube channel. Click to the left to watch one of our previous videos, and click to the right to subscribe to our channel for free.